Hi guys. So I found a way to actually record the forum instead using the emulator because for some reason I can't record the browser. So like this I can get the patch notes to you guys earlier. First of all, I'm gonna do a shout out to Darilos, who's one of the staff members of the forum and is always extremely diligent to give us the information as early as possible. Hopefully, BB will someday learn to copy his style, but we can wait very long before that happens. So, first of all, if you would just want a rough idea of what's going to happen, they're basically adding new players, they're buffing Utility Striker, and they're adding Evolved Meras to the season achievements. Now, let's get in detail. So they've added some of the Japanese characters, so we can highly await that some of the other ones will be added too. And a lot of the changes, again, will be translated same as the Stoning. So the very first one is a Wormwind player. She's basically very cool on the fact that she has some really nice reflex. Her ace is very basic for a Wormwind team. Her active increases reflex and crit rate by 50%. And her third passes increases attack power and reflex of allies within the line by 20%, meaning that's a 70% reflex buff just from skills. That's pretty cool. And this could actually counter a lane very easily because it's 70% versus 100%. Now, the passive 2, increase crit and action speed by 30%. This is normally the one you're not going to max out. And she's got Super Play, aka our favorite skill. Well, at least in my case, and in swirly matches and elemental matches, it usually works best. Now we got a new light player that's been added to draw. I find her pretty cool. She's basically like a Silk for light teams. I wouldn't be against even using her myself. Her ace is pretty basic, increase attack power and hype of light players. Her active is a long pass that recovers action bar, pass effect, crit rate. Nothing great. What is really cool is her first passive. Recover 50% hype every 2 minutes. It's a little bit under Silk's, but Silk is every 3 minutes and is 100%. So it's still very good, even for PvP or PvE. Passive 2, increase max hype, decrease incoming damage of allies within position. That's a line buff, something that light teams are really missing. And increase defense and pass effect by 30 position, aka the skill we will max last, who's pretty bad. Now we have Samir, who's getting her extreme evolution. They're changing the names, but the thing is that they actually don't change them, so it's kind of sad. Decrease the enemy action speed by 20% when being attacked, and decrease the action speed and pass effect for 10 minutes when being attacked or with a pass. So basically a much higher chance is going to activate, and a little bit of a pass effect decrease. It's a nice buff, but not really that major. Now, there seems to be a spelling mistake. Is there a D in front of it, or what does that mean? Because I really want Alice, and if you go back in my videos, you're gonna see that. They've somehow buffed her. All they really did was they reduced the amount of time she needed to move to accumulate her skills. So before it was like 8 times, and this would have been 10 times or something like that. And instead, they've divided by 2, but they've never actually touched the value. Because 8 times 5 or 4 times 10 again gives 40%. And at her extreme evolution, they've reduced it even more to 3 times for 15% each time. I'm going to say for an extreme evolution, gaining a little 5% is extremely low. But I guess she was already kind of broken, and they didn't nerf all her other skills when those have been nerfed on most players. What is kind of shocking is the cost of her evolution, because 3 black hole swirlies is like kind of really bad for a player. I mean, this is basically S2 legend level. A nice little skill has been added for Dale. I don't use him, but honestly, I find it cool. Now, they're saying it's in the skin shop, so it's not going to be an event. I'm going to talk to you about the draws. I know a lot of people care about those. So, on the draw level, they're going to be boosting players they've changed. There's Bora, Vayne, Samir, Elua, Verizor, Jin, and Duran. So, if you're a Wormwind player or a mono Wormwind or dual something with Wormwind, this is a really good week to draw for you because there's the 2 best Wormwind legends for backline survival, and then there's Skrull, but he's not in this list. Bora, Vayne, Samir, even Verisor are players you can just get from Scout. So I wouldn't advise scouting just for that. If you are mono light, Elua is really cool for you too. So you could actually draw for that, and the chances will be pretty high. Now the following week is the week of light. So we got Angela, who's the goalkeeper, who if you want, so if you're tired of waiting, you can go there. Blade, I wouldn't advise. The new Wormwind player, if you're into that, that's when you can get her because she's not going to be obtainable in Scout for 24 weeks, same as Elua. Latios, do not get that. And Dale, Mono Dark could be interested, but it can be scouted, so don't do it either. There's Duke and Vonchi, so again, as a light player, you would draw that. I actually own both of them, so I'm not going to be drawing. They've done a few fixes and features of Spirit Stones. The Andor boss match has been added, so we know the next one is Elsie. And I don't like that much Andor minions, but I guess that's not just me. The achievement, draw 2-star player with friendship draw. Change to draw 5-star player with friendship draw. I guess it's not really above, but it's fine. At least we can actually get it. New dialogue for 50 to 55. They have been promising to give us 5 levels each patch, and they're keeping up to their promise. Something with the Spirit Stones. I wouldn't even call this a feature. I'd call this a fix-up. But they've done it. It was something where power-ups, when you transformed stones, would stay, and those were not between unique. So, okay. Now, balancing. The rest is pretty boring, so I'm not going to go down every single last one of them. But already this is very important. The daily and season are different. All they've really done, if they made some a little bit easier. So a challenge and hell mode games have been just added to story mode, so you won't need to just change the difficulty for that one. They fixed a few of them. I think they're talking about the COD champion one, because I know that when I was new that was kind of hard. They now give you a Mera evolution for completing all of the season achievements. It does means it's a 5-star, not a 3-star. So it's pretty cool. In a way, it does help you get closer to the 7-star. They're talking about a reset. I don't understand why it would be a daily. It might be a translation error, as this was taken from Chinese. But in the worst case, the day of the patch, just log in, get all your dailies up, and then log back in later on that day and do your dailies again, meaning you can get 10 crystals, meaning you can get the free 6-star box twice. I'm not saying no to this, but it's pretty weird. Utility Striker. So a lot of them have just been changed, and they've changed their skills accumulate 5 times, copying the Vonchi way. I find that just basically made everyone Vonchi-esque, who kind of gets boring. But if you really wanted that, it is a big buff for most of them. Bora's gonna get a serious buff after her third shot. Even Blade's getting a serious buff after her third shot. It's basically on third shot, everyone will be back to their old levels, and then they're just gonna get better on the 2 following shots. So it's copying again the Vonchi way of life, except Vonchi is maxed out on third shot, then is active as 5th. Nothing really big, I would say. Maybe just pointing out that some things have been changed, like action bar here. Kirin's, when he knocks people out, it now affects reflex and sec of attack power. I'm going to say for every player, just go down the list, because if I do this, it's going to take half an hour. Look for the players you want, but there's not a lot of a difference. I just say Bora got much harder, and the really annoying one is they've actually gone and buffed Latios. So I wasn't really a fan of this, but I guess so that she can destroy us even more in COD. At least it didn't increase her heal, so it's not that bad. Lucid got a really nice buff, because now it also stacks with a crit. So now it will actually activate when you're playing, because I know that it never does, and that's why we're all frustrated. So for Lucid, she's actually getting an extremely good buff, and Ravian on the other side got nerfed, because except for her active, the skill that used to remove 20% of hype is now 20%, or actually 15% of remaining. It's just bad, because if you're near the middle of the end, it's just not gonna work. I mean, if she's shooting at an Asilla who's under 50% life, the Asilla heal will be above that skill's damage value. Now, the promised nerf of healers has arrived. As a Virgil user, I honestly don't care, and I'm actually shocked that they actually touched Chu. So they went and they touched Shu's Spirit Generation, making him extremely weak and even under Virgil. I'm like, you should have just let him there, but they did that too. Why make a legend that everyone already hates even worse? Because it's BB. Capture Soul for Miho, 3% nerf. Virgil, 10% nerf. Valkia nerf. I don't really get that one. It's really annoying because she's used for the 2-star maps. Are they trying to say they don't want us to pass those? It looks pretty much like it. But these really mean nothing on the long run for anyone who runs either Miho or Virgil. The only good thing is that since they touched Virgil, they touched Miho. Because I know that anyone using him would have switched to Miho in case they weren't both nerfed. Now, those nerfs means nothing. The only thing is, if you got any Spirit Gen on your line, and I do, I have Cheetos, you just don't care. A few bug fixes, nothing really important. I'm going to say this one was cool because it happened to me twice. Beating a Nandor champion, giving you a Gatekeeper instead. I did get a Leader and a Beelzebub from this, so I really wasn't complaining. I guess someone kind of told them, and I prefer if people wouldn't tell them about things that advantage us. But that's how life is. Nothing really big is happening. Some small errors, some issues with action bar, names of skills, icons, and Shoho. But I mean, unless you're a really old player, you don't own any of this, so it's completely fine. If you want to look at what people are thinking about it, what their comments are, if you want to comment yourself, I would highly advise just going on the Soccer Spirits forum. For any of you who don't know the link, this is it. I will put it in the description of the video. And I hope that this update helps you. And if you were used to running a one-hit kill striker, you're really going to start feeling a nerf around now. Now, my one question to BB as always is, why is it raw? Does that mean draw? What's going on? I want her. I thought she was a special boss, and they're not saying that she's added. I don't get it, but hopefully I will get her, and the day that I can clearly get her, I can just use my pick ticket and get her instantly. Now, have a great day, guys, and I'll post a few notes later on what are my opinions on what happened, because again, between a patch and between what a patch does, there's a little bit of a difference. Now, the one thing I am going to say is it feels like most utility strikers have actives who are Vonchi level or even a bit above, who's kind of frustrating, as Vonchi was supposed to be a legendary player who had kind of a unique skill set. But we'll see exactly how that's going to go down. In a way, they did nerf Vonchi by buffing everyone else. Have a good day, guys.